Hey guys, Ray from LYRV, and today I'm back with you to do a little lighting mod. I'm going to create a little DIY dimmer for our bedroom light that sits over the bed. I saw this kind of a thing done recently on the forum, the LYRV forum. One of the guys actually ordered a dimmer. He had bought a new fifth wheel and all the LED lights were super bright. So he bought himself a store-bought dimmer and installed it and was quite happy. So that got me thinking. It looked like his dimmer was just a pulse width modulating dimmer, probably using a circuit similar to this. This is DC motor control, or if you remember last year I installed one on our bathroom fan because the fan was just too speedy. It was creating a big wind tunnel, so I installed one of these and it's been quite good. It actually, I can adjust the speed of the fan with it. So it got me thinking that maybe I could use this as a dimmer for our lights in the bedroom fixture. So I picked this up off Amazon. I think it went for about 18 bucks Canadian, well, probably cheaper in the US, maybe 10 or 12 bucks or something. And basically I'm going to hook it into the 12 volts coming out of the RV and then hook it into the light socket. I have a little fuse here. I figured out the current, that the maximum current it's going to draw for a light would be about 2 amps or so, 1.8 or something. So I got a 3 amp fuse just for extra protection. The lighting circuit in the RV is already protected by fuses, but just a little bit extra because I'm inserting kind of an unknown. These things, you know, they're made in China. You just never know. Although this one I picked because it's all encapsulated in this aluminum box. So up front, I'm not an electrician or anything, so be warned, don't follow what I do unless you really research what you're doing, and you're going to be taking some risks when you start messing around with your RV lighting. You could cause damage or even a fire. Anyway, what I'm going to do here is do a little bit of a bench test just to make sure my theory is going to work. I got my Jackery box. I'm going to turn it on. It'll provide 12 volts to this part. And then I've hooked it up to an LED light here just to see how it works. Now I'm gonna, right now you can see the voltage to that LED is 13. Turn it down and you can see it's dimming. There we go. So it seems like seems to all happen right near the end of this adjustment knob here, but I'm actually not going to use the LED on this one because these LEDs are quite pricey. They're around 20 bucks and they have built-in regulation themselves, so I'm just not sure what might happen if I run the voltage out of this and into this. So on this particular fixture I'm going to go back to the good old incandescent bulbs, which is just like a little heater element in there, puts out light. So let's swap that over and I'll show you it working with that. Okay, there's full voltage, almost 13 volts. Let's start turning that down before it melts the table. And you can see I'm already way down. I can go right down to 0 volts. Back up. So there's much more of a range in dimming ability on the incandescent. The LED one did work, but I think this is going to be a little better for us. So, proof of concept working there. I'll go in and install this. I'm going to pull apart the fixture in the bedroom and then I'll install it, put this up into the roof area, and wire it all together, solder it up. Like I say, install that fuse in line just as an extra bit of protection. Give you a quick look what's written on this. You can see it can handle 9 to 60 volts and 20 amp max, so I'm not using this near its maximum, so I don't think I'm going to have any problem with this thing running hot at all. Although I'll run it for a while before I actually sew it up into the ceiling just to make sure it doesn't run hot. But I don't think at the very low current and voltage I'm going to be using it, it'll get even warm. So here's the fixture. I pulled it down and I cut a square hole, so I'll be able to shove that up in there. There's actually an aluminum beam going across there, so I'll be able to bend this tab and then secure that to that beam. And then all the wires are right here for me to cinch up. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to put a hole in this plastic fixture there so it'll sit back, and I'll have a place where she can easily adjust the brightness of the light. You can see we only use one side of it. She likes to read at night, I don't, so she just has the light on her side, and I just took the bulb out of that side, so that's what we're gonna do. As you can see, the white is actually ground on my rig right here, and the black is the positive battery voltage, 12 volts. Actually, it's actually 13 with my lithium. So do it up to the corresponding wires in and out of the PWM controller. Okie doke, all hooked up. You can see up there, those are the two wires coming down. It's part of the fifth wheel's 12 volt circuit in the bedroom here. And so I cut those wires going to the lamp, watch the right polarity, hook them up to the input of my PWM controller, and then on the output to the light. And then I drilled a hole in the plastic and installed my potentiometer adjuster there. Now what I'm going to do, before I shove that box back up into that hole, I'm going to let this thing run a good hour or so and then check it for any heating. I'm really thinking it's not going to heat at all. So, oh, I also installed the fuse inline right in here. Just put in a blade fuse and wrapped everything. I soldered everything, and then I was lazy. Instead of making nice shrink tubing or anything, I just used good old electrical tape. There we go. Let's give her a try. So on one side is the incandescent. Let's see how they dim there. You can actually dim the LED right down. It takes a little longer for the incandescent to get right up. Yeah, I think it would probably be okay to use the LED, but I think just to err on the side of caution, because this LED has its own regulator circuit built into it, so it might be fighting the PWM. Okay, I'm going to crank them both on full, and then we'll just let that hang, and we'll check on that box in about an hour. Okay, did up the dishes and a few other chores, and I'm back to check on the temperatures here. One tip, if you're working on the bed, always put down a drop cloth. Otherwise you got sawdust in your sheets. Okay, ambient temperature right now, 76. And we got here 80, 78. It's hard to even tell when you touch it. 84. A lot of it might be because it's sitting above this thing. Some parts of this are up around 100 where that bulb is. The incandescent bulb puts out a lot of heat. Anyway, I'm not getting much warmth at all, so should be good to go. Yeah, I can't feel anything. Let's just check the current here. Drawn about 1.57 amps, so not much at all. So I just put a screw in there, tucked most of the wires back, and I'll be able to tuck the wires underneath this, put it back in place. Well, I ran into a snag in my cunning plan. I guess because that aluminum beam there is gone back to ground, this box doesn't like when it gets grounded, it kills the light. They must not use like a common ground. Anyway, I guess what I'm going to have to do is insulate that up there. Put some Gorilla Tape on that or something, so I can get the box up there anyway. I guess instead of putting a screw in there, I'll just use some silicone to keep everything in place. Okay, that should do the trick. See if a person ever buys my RV and pulls this apart and goes, what the heck happened up there? Of course, they'll have a big video archive to look back on. Anyway, we can get that back together now. Give her a test here. So this is the actual LED one. You can see it does work, but it's got a very narrow range right at the end of the control. So, you know, you could use it. But I think I'm going to go with the incandescent because it has a much wider range. Pop that in and let you see. Okay, here's the incandescent. It has a more linear range. So, I think Anne's going to like that. We'll let her try it out tonight. Come back tomorrow and let you know how she liked that. Well, the mod was a success. Got a definite thumbs up from Anne on the new light dimmer switch. Till next time, Ray from LYRV.com. Thanks again for watching, folks. Cheers.